Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a pretty fascinating journey deep into human biology. We're going to track this really treacherous path from chronic gut inflammation all the way to colorectal cancer. But more importantly, and honestly way more exciting, we're looking at a remarkable, completely natural intervention that might just stop this deadly progression dead in its tracks.
Okay, let's dive into this. What if a compound in your everyday celery, yeah, I'm talking about the crunchy, watery stuff you dip in ranch dressing, could actually halt the progression of cancer? Now, I know it sounds like some exaggerated internet lore, right? But the latest clinical research reveals that natural plant compounds hold some incredibly powerful therapeutic abilities. So let's unpack exactly how this works on a cellular level.
Well, to really understand the cure, we first need to grasp the sheer scale of the problem: 10 million. Right now, an estimated 10 million individuals worldwide are suffering from inflammatory bowel disease, or IBD. This includes really debilitating, painful conditions like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. And the crazy thing is, the exact cause is still kind of a medical mystery.
Section 1. The gut's ticking clock.
You see, IBD isn't just a painful condition on its own. It's actually a biological catalyst that pumps up the risk of colorectal cancer by 2 to 3 times. And it follows a very unique disease continuum. Unlike sporadic colon cancer, IBD-associated cancer follows a distinct sequence. Step 1, chronic inflammation degrades your cellular health. Step 2, this leads to dysplasia, which are basically abnormal cells. And Step 3, those ultimately mutate into full-blown carcinoma. Persistent inflammation simply breaks down the intestine's microenvironment over time until the cells literally turn malignant.
Section 2. Meet luteolin, plant defender.
Luteolin is a naturally occurring flavonoid. Essentially, it's a phytonutrient that acts as a plant's natural antioxidant and primary defender against environmental threats. And this brilliantly illustrates how you don't actually have to go to the ends of the earth to find it. It's highly prevalent in things you probably eat all the time: honeysuckle, celery, peppers, broccoli, and carrots. But researchers are discovering that when you isolate it, this common dietary flavonoid has potent anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties that go way, way beyond basic nutrition.
Section 3. Putting out the fire. When introduced during that initial inflammatory bowel disease stage, luteolin acts as a literal biological roadblock to just put out the fire. In IBD, your immune system is completely out of whack. But luteolin? It steps in like an immune system traffic cop. On one hand, it promotes the generation of Treg and Th2 cells. Those are the good guys that resolve inflammation and promote healing. And on the other hand, it actively inhibits the aggressive Th1 and Th17 cells that are driving the inflammatory response. It just forcibly rebalances your immune system. It achieves all this through a really incredible multi-target approach. First, it goes after oxidative stress by activating the NRF2/HO1 pathway. That's basically your cell's built-in antioxidant defense system, and activating it drastically reduces reactive oxygen species. Second, it balances your gut flora by boosting beneficial bacteria like lactobacillus. And third, it physically repairs the damaged, leaky intestinal wall by enhancing these tight junction proteins called ZO1 and occludin. It's like a full-scale renovation for your gut. Section 4. Halting the cancer sequence. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens if the inflammation wasn't stopped in time.
Let's say we've reached the terrifying stage of colorectal cancer. Well, luteolin still doesn't give up. It actually goes on the offensive using 3 primary mechanisms. First, it inhibits cell proliferation by literally trapping cancer cells, which prevents them from replicating. Second, it induces apoptosis. And third, it completely suppresses migration and invasion. It stops cancer cells from degrading the biological glue that holds our tissues together, effectively preventing metastasis.
Now that second mechanism, apoptosis, is particularly fascinating. It's defined as the process of programmed cell death or cellular self-destruction. You see, normal cells know when it's time to die, but cancer cells, they're essentially immortal. They just keep growing. But luteolin targets specific survival channels in those cancer cells, specifically the PI3K/AKT pathway, and just shuts them down. It totally overrides their immortality and forces the tumor cells to hit their own self-destruct button. Absolutely wild.
Section 5. From patients to athletes. Here is where the story takes a super fascinating twist, moving luteolin out of the hospital ward and directly onto the training field. Clinical trials are currently investigating luteolin supplementation in athletes. And the hypothesis here is thrilling. If luteolin can profoundly regulate oxidative stress, reduce inflammation, and optimize metabolism in sick patients. Could those exact same superpowers enhance physical performance, muscle recovery, and body composition in peak, healthy athletes? It really shows just how versatile these plant compounds are.
Section 6. The bioavailability bottleneck. So the crucial point is,
Why isn't luteolin just a universal prescription by now? Why can't we all just eat a massive bowl of celery and instantly cure our gut ailments? Well, it comes down to a major absorption bottleneck. Luteolin has notoriously poor water and fat solubility, so when consumed naturally, your body really struggles to absorb it into the bloodstream and it just gets rapidly flushed out. And before you ask, no, taking excessively high concentrated doses of raw luteolin isn't the answer either. Doing that could actually lead to toxicity and organ dysfunction, which is definitely not what we want.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Fortunately, science is actively solving this bottleneck. Instead of relying on untreated lutein alone that's poorly absorbed and rapidly excreted, researchers are turning to nanoformulations. By encasing the luteolin inside polymer micelles and reactive nanoparticles, they can dramatically increase the compound's absorption. Even better, these nanoparticles can actually be engineered to release the luteolin only when they encounter the highly inflamed environment of the colon. This maximizes the healing efficacy while keeping the required dose super low. It's a real game changer.
We've seen how a humble plant compound can regulate immune cells, rebuild the gut barrier, and even trigger cancer cells to self-destruct. We're also seeing how cutting-edge nanotechnology makes this medicine viable for human patients. So I'll leave you with this. As nanotechnology unlocks the true potential of these natural compounds, what other miraculous botanical cures are hiding in plain sight right there on our dinner plates, just waiting to be discovered? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your curiosity sharp, and I'll catch you next time.